Next up at UFC Orlando, we have Francis Marshall in his official UFC debut, taking on Marcelo Rojo. Marcelo Rojo 16-8 overall,
Whoa.
2-3 in his last 5. He is looking for his first UFC win after a couple of wars. Francis Marshall is undefeated, but very early in his career. He is coming off a Contender Series win, though, where he had 6 takedowns. And that's what Francis Marshall is. He's a heavy-handed grappler. He'll come forward. He will throw power. He'll shoot some takedowns. He's a little too comfortable striking. He keeps his hands a lot lower than a guy who isn't that technical of a striker, should keep his hands. But he's going to shoot, and he's going to do nice, solid blast doubles up the middle. Actual wrestling takedowns. He's fighting Marcelo Rojo. Marcelo Rojo is just tough. He comes forward. He's got pressure. He's got hands. He does have some wrestling. His defense is solid, but he's really just an aggressive guy who's going to come forward, take one, throw one, and just try to bomb his way to a win. He's 0-2 in the UFC. But there were some highlights there, and he was finished by Charles Jourdain, but he was winning that fight.
Dominating that
It was
fight.
short notice. He was up in weight. But then he gassed, and Charles Jourdain put it on. So more of the story here is Francis Marshall should win. He should be able to come in. He should be able to shoot takedowns, grind out Marcelo Rojo. But Marcelo Rojo is very tough. He's not a guy you want to stand toe-to-toe with. Like, he's not a big power guy, but he is a tough, stay-in-your-face guy that doesn't care what happens to him. He does not care about his body, his face, or any of that. So I like Francis Marshall to win because hopefully he will wrestle and grind. But Rojo's tough, and these odds actually probably seem pretty correct to me. You want the baby more? What do you think, Jacob?
No, I'm actually surprised that you gave Rojo the respect. I'm surprised you gave him the respect that he deserves, and I'm actually very surprised that the odds makers gave him the respect that he deserves, because he is a fucking dog. When you want an absolute dog, that is what Marcelo Rojo is. And if you guys didn't know, if you guys are new to the channel, Marcelo Rojo was a lock of the week back in the day with the Charles Jourdain fight, and he was like one of my most heartfelt lock of the weeks. I still absolutely adore Marcelo Rojo. When Brandon Moreno won the belt, Marcelo Rojo had the belt on his shoulder in the octagon with Moreno. I absolutely loved it. He's a great guy and an absolute dog. And in this fight, this seems like one of those fights where he is going to come out on top against a young gun newcomer, as you mentioned, that strikes a little bit too much. But the biggest hole to Marcelo's game is the takedown defense. He's not worthless on the ground. He's decent off his back. He knows what he's doing. He can get back to his feet, but he can be taken down easily, and that's exactly what Francis wants to do in this matchup. So the path to victory is very obvious for Francis, but if he starts brawling and Marcelo turns this into a brawl, he could definitely come out on top. But again, as you mentioned, the gas tank also an issue, and Francis's last fight went 3 rounds. Didn't look like he had any issues at all, even with the wrestling and the striking. So I got to side with Francis on this. I'm not putting any money on Francis, and I might sprinkle a little bit on my dude, Marcelo, to be honest with you.
I hear you. I think I think we're aligned there. The wrestling's going to be the difference for sure. But anytime you get, like, I don't have a bet here, because anytime you get a UFC newcomer against a gritty vet, there's a lot going on there. There's absolutely a lot going on. The only bet I might place, did BetOnline drop the takedown lines yet? Or they wait till the end of the
let
week?
me check. I don't see him though.
Yeah,
I
they
will
usually
say
wait till later
one
in the week.
one little note for Rojo is there's a lot of fights that he's won where he is losing and then wins. Kind of like the Charles Jourdain effect, where he's like up against the cage, getting beat on, and all of a sudden he throws a flying something, a flying this, and all of a sudden he's winning the fight. So like I said, he's a dog. Sometimes he's getting put in a corner. A dog in a corner. It's like a dog with a bone. You know what I mean? It's got to be going. You know,
I hear you. Yeah, so we're both on Francis Marshall. We'll see. The only bet I would consider here is that takedown prop bet. If you don't know, BetOnline offers 2 different takedown prop bets. One is who's going to get more takedowns in this fight. And this is a bet. It's not even fantasy. Who's going to get more takedowns in this fight? Obviously, that pick is going to be Francis Marshall. Hopefully, those odds aren't going to be minus 900. The other is they set a line. What, is it there?
I'm placing this right now. When I talked about sprinkles, and I do this, I like to do this a lot with people that I know are going to wrestle and people that are decently versed in jiu-jitsu in the wrestling defense. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you have Francis as a wrestler, Marcelo with submission wins. He's decent off his back. He can threaten arm bars and all sorts of stuff. Marcelo Rojo round submissions. Do you have a guess of what they might be?
No, but you're going to get a little crazy with these flyers and you're going to miss them all and then you lose 9 units.
Plus 4,000, plus 4,500, and plus 6,000 for a guy that's going to be shooting takedowns, and Marcelo Rojo, who is very well versed on the ground. So I'm going to spray my sprinkle for Marcelo. I'll tell you right now is going to be that, because those odds are crazy. Because you know he's going to be shooting takedowns.
When you say sprinkle, that should be a quarter of a unit.
Oh, it's going to be. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, those are. But what's happening is those are live stream bets. Save those for the live stream.
Well, they might change now. They're out in the world. We almost have 10,000 subscribers. People are going to jump on those, and they might be minus money by the time the fight starts.
Did you know if we hit 10,000 subscribers, we're going to give somebody $1,000? Did you know that?
Yeah, because you made me deposit $1,000 into the We Won't Picks bank account to pay for it.
Just kidding. Let me hold some cash real quick for this giveaway. You know what's going to happen though? There's going to be one idiot that subscribes only to this channel and not the other one and doesn't get the money. That's what's going to happen.
Don't listen. None of you people listen.
They don't, and it's free. It costs nothing to subscribe. Anyway, I was saying the only bet I would consider is Francis Marshall. Takedown prop bet. BetOnline offers 2 takedowns. One is who's going to get more takedowns. Obviously, that's going to be Francis. We'll see what those odds are. The other is they set a line. They may say Francis Marshall 2 takedowns. Over is minus 115. Under is minus 115. In that case, I'm playing the over. I'm betting the over for sure. So we'll see when those drop. If you want to be alerted the minute they do, become a premium member, and you'll see when we place those bets. DraftKings, I do like Francis Marshall. As live as Marcelo Rojo is, and even if Marcelo Rojo wins by finish late, Francis Marshall is going to get a whole bunch of takedowns and a whole bunch of control. What do you think?
Yeah, it's probably pretty good value, because like I said, if there's no like wild submission, which I hope there is at this point, but it should be Francis kind of grinding on top and Rojo struggling on the bottom. But I mean, he works out with Moreno, and Moreno's pretty well versed on the ground. He's only going to get better. I'm just saying.
No, listen, those are ridiculous odds. If you said plus 1,200, I'd say you're a moron for considering that.
I know. That's why I wouldn't. But 4,000, 4,500, 6,000 is probably, if you want to just play the first 2 rounds, because he does get tired, and I don't see him like getting a sub in the 3rd round. So maybe the first 2 rounds, but plus 4,000 is like when they're dry and all of a sudden a guillotine's there. Crazier things have happened.
And you know they'll be grappling. Like that's the odds for Tuivasa to win by submission to be plus 4,000. Because how is that going to happen? But what are the odds? Are you looking that up? I'm curious. What are the odds for Tuivasa to win by submission?
He's got 1, 2. I mean, he's got 3 armbar submission wins.
Listen, I hear you.
4 armbar submission wins.
Okay, we're just going to sit here while you read his topology.
What was your question? I have the odds. Yeah, what do you need?
I said plus 4,000 is like Tai Tuivasa odds. What are his odds?
Oh, for submission? I literally think that they are, because I actually looked at them. I'm always looking at wild stuff. Tai Tuivasa by submission is plus 4,000.
So the bookmakers have said Tai Tuivasa and Marcelo Rojo have the exact same chance to win by submission in the first round. It's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's decent value.
I mean,
Sprinkles, tiny. Don't do anything crazy.
No, I agree. And you don't need to tail everything. We've given you a whole bunch of profit.
Right.
Now towards the end of the year is when you should appreciate you have the profit, because there's people out there that, and good for them, they do what we do and they're transparent, whatever, but there are people out there that just, they can't make money to save their life. Hemorrhaging money. Blank sheets, just every single bet is a loss. It's rough out there. Pick your spots. And don't chase, right? Jacob likes to do little sprinkles, as he says. But
right. And I'll tell you guys, like the live stream, like the last 2 weeks, because we killed it for a while, and then the live stream bets started getting a little wild. Before that live stream, I was like, listen, I don't feel good about this card, yada, yada. I think that one card was a little bit of a weird card. This week, I know you don't feel like super great about this card, but I feel fantastic. So I feel very confident in this card.
I hear you. Anyway, we're both on Francis. We both think he should work out in DraftKings. The Monkey Knife Fight strike line, I'm not going to touch it in this fight because I don't know how much striking there's actually going to be. So theoretically, it should be less. But Marcelo defends a takedown or two. Francis does get comfortable striking. They could just end up swinging wild. So I'm not going to touch the monkey knife fight strike line. In all reality, it should be a less more because Francis should just get takedowns, hang out, pound, 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 and that's it. Because these are total strikes, not significant. What do you think?
I think it might be a more. I think Rojo, even off his back, knows how to stay somewhat safe and can do some strikes and try to scramble and stuff. So probably more.
No, and it is literally total strikes, the pitter patter while defending takedowns, all of it. If you are confident, want to give it a shot, wewantpicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. You give them 10, they'll give you 10. You give them 100, they'll give you 100. Take the free money, play this line or another one, and see what happens. See what happens.